Can you possibly take me through how the screw cap edition is going to work?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's officially available
in Australia only, as of now.
You not doing anything in New Zealand?
Not yet.
I know it's a small market, but as far as the
We'll get
industry
there.
itself,
It's great.
And like the US market is massive for New Zealand wine now.
It is, and it's wonderful. I have a lot of respect for the winemakers in this whole process.
Yeah.
With Coravin, the only reason Coravin can be successful is because they made their product.
And to a large extent, the influence and education is going to come from the industry, I think.
It is, and it does.
But
But
they're going to be the early embracers.
I want to make sure. I think that my general feeling is two countries did the lion's share of the work in proving that screw cap was great closure, and it's Australia and New Zealand. So I want to make sure that it's successful here first.
Sure.
I'm starting in Australia. I'll move to New Zealand. And then once we've had a couple of months in each of those locations, we'll start to spread it around the rest of the
Austria would be your next.
Austria, Germany. So how does screw cap work? It's essentially a standard screw cap liner.
Okay.
That's the wine-facing material.
Okay.
And then on the other side, our resealing capacity comes from medical-grade silicon rubber. It's platinum-cured silicon rubber. Has no leachables, no taste, no smell.
What would that otherwise be used for?
It's high-grade pharmaceuticals. So I work in the medical industry.
Yes.
So you're sealing things like insulin or chemotherapeutic agents and other stuff. It's a great material. The only problem is it's a little oxygen permeable. So over time the wine oxidizes if you use only silicon rubber.
Right.
So we found that it was really critical to have a liner. And actually the stuff that seals the wine in a screw cap is saran wrap.
Right.
PVDC
Yep.
is the wine-facing material. We have PVDC, and because I'm paranoid, we have a layer of expanded polyethylene, another layer of PVDC, another layer of polyethylene, another layer of PVDC. So it's a paranoid schizophrenic.
Sounds like a parfait.
Right, yeah, it is. It's a sandwich. It's a weird plastic sandwich, but imparts no flavor to the wine, and you can strike it over and over again. So this is reusable. You can move it from bottle to bottle. It'll go at least 50 strikes on the same screw cap.
50?
50.
50 as in...
Through and back and through and back and through and back.
So is that sort of... Because I think I read that you sort of suggested reusing 5 times?
5 bottles.
5 bottles?
So if you're striking each bottle 5 to 6 times, well, actually, no, it's 10 bottles.
10?
Yeah.
So 10 bottles?
Yeah, at least.
5 times?
Yeah.
Assuming you're taking out 1 glass.
That's right.
One
That's right.
standard glass. Okay.
So it's 50 reuses. I'm trying to figure out a way that I can make this infinitely reusable. I haven't gotten there yet. But it's the liner that dies. Yeah, so what you basically do is...
So it's remove the screw cap and immediately put it on?
That's right. There's no reason to dwell, right? But the gases on top of the wine are generally heavier than air. In most wines. They either bottle under nitrogen.
Yeah, I'm about to bottle my first wine on the screw cap.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you're about to do it, so you bottle either under nitrogen or under argon. Yeah, so if you use argon, then what's in there is already heavier than air. So almost nothing gets in. There's no reason to dwell. We've done tests up to 5 minutes. If it's under argon, that's fine. If it's under nitrogen, that is not okay.
Okay.
So why take the risk? Just swap it. The worst thing you can do with our screw cap is open the bottle, pour a glass, and then put our screw cap on. Because by pouring, you go glug, glug, glug. And air gets in and mixes.
That's interesting. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so you really don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So that's it.
So it goes on immediately after opening it, and then use the Coravin.
Yeah, it's standard. So you just place it on. So important usage techniques, especially if you're a rep and you're selling and you're tasting over and over again. Really good to go just before you push the needle through.
See, I do it after.
Do it before.
Do it before. Okay.
Because you're clearing any air or wine that is in there. You don't want to inject that air or wine into the next bottle. And air will get in there if it sits in your bag.
Okay. The reason I do it immediately after pulling it out is so there's like the wine doesn't sit.
Doesn't dwell in there.
Yeah.
It's fine. I know people who do both. I'm the guy who's had it for the longest.
Before and after?
Yeah, I don't do that. So I've had it the longest. I've had this for 19 years now, 18 years.
Sure.
And I've noticed if you just purge it before you press the needle through, that's what you need.
Okay.
After is not as necessary, nor is it good enough. You really need to do it beforehand.
Yeah.
Just before, just to clear the air. And then push it through. It's easier to push through than cork.
Yeah.
Because it's silicon rubber.
It's a couple of...
Yeah, exactly.
As opposed to a...
And then short presses on the trigger until you get the flow rate you like is better than a long press on the trigger.
Okay.
So multiple pulses is a lot better than a long press.
Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest, I generally don't do it because I'm just pouring tastings.
Yeah, that's it.
So I just go bang and get the flow.
Okay, well that's good. I can't make your capsules last much longer. You should be able to get 50.
I do find sometimes if the flow is quite slow, I'll have to give it another jolt.
So the deeper you get into a bottle, the more gas you need to drive the same flow.
Okay.
Because it takes more gas to build the same pressure.
Right. So I'm comparing ones that were Coravin and ones that were freshly opened.
Just opened 10 minutes before you got here.
Okay.
So and you've got to say which glass or which glasses you think were Coravin. This is the game that we played yesterday.
So I've got 5 glasses.
5 glasses, and we'll think of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, there were only 2 bottles that were involved. The one I was just pouring for you. This one. So this was one of the controls.
It's a bit hard in these glasses.
I know.
It's really not good for.
I know. I'm sorry, but
no, that's fine. I'm a professional.
And actually, you notice the last one's slightly larger. They didn't have 10 of the same glass here. And glass shape does make a difference. But yeah, this was the test we did yesterday. And you can use the coffee now.
Oh, so it's all the same wine.
Yeah, 5 glasses of the same wine. Some were Coravin, some weren't, or one was Coravin and the others weren't, or 4 were Coravin and one of them was a control. You have to figure out which is which. Random odds are about 5% of getting this right, which is why I do this test. I'm geeky, and so I run clinical trials in medicine. I didn't know about triangle tests before I came to wine. So the question I always ask is, are any of them clearly oxidized?
No.
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 Right? And are any of the wines you wouldn't serve to a guest or a friend as an example of that wine?
No.
So that's when I always say, we've already won. Because this was done.
So there is
a difference.
Tiny variation.
So,
and it could just be my perception.
Sure.
And like the glasses. I think like 1 and 3 look different to me a little bit. And the 5th one, I can't tell if it's just because it's a different bottle, glass shape.
All right.
But if I were to hazard a guess, 1 and 3, I would assume were the ones that.
So now try the reds. I'll give you the full. At least those are all the same glass.
Where were the Coravin bottles stored?
So you've caught us a little bit. We didn't have any controls left over, so we had to run out and buy new control bottles. So we don't know where the brand new control bottles were stored. But the test we did yesterday, they were all stored at Negociants. And so the test we had yesterday, the good news, they were all from the same case. So there's no bottle-to-bottle variability, or very little, there's no storage difference.
Red's a little bit harder.
Yeah.
A little bit harder. But 1 and 4, for me, I think that they're the ones that were freshly opened.
Okay.
3 and 5 seem more like ones on the Coravin. 2, I'm not quite sure.
All right. Cool. Well, we wrote it down over here so that I would remember.
Interesting.
So the whites, you were pretty close. 1, 3, and 5.
1, 3, and 5.
And 5. Yeah.
I said I wasn't sure if it was
sure, but that's great.
Okay.
And then Coravin glasses 3 and 4. So this one and this one were the only ones Coravin.
Huh. Okay. So I was pretty close.
Yeah, close but off on that one.
Yeah, like I said, the reds are a little bit harder.
Yeah.
Like aromatically, 3 and 5 seemed a little bit distinct. Then on the palette, 2 seemed a bit distinct from 1 and 4. But
yeah, 3 was 3 was Coravin and 5 was not, and 4 was Coravin and 1 was not.
So
just these 2 were
1, 3, and 5 in the whites,
and then these 2 were Coravin,
and then 3 and 4 were Coravin.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
not bad.
Pretty happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I'm sure some of my sommelier friends would do a lot better than I did.
No, 0. So we had 1 person guess correctly yesterday, and
do you mind telling me who?
It was a young woman, and I don't remember who it was, and it was on the red. Nobody guessed the white yesterday. No one.
Can you say that I guessed the white?
No!
Damn!
You gotta get it totally right.
I was on the fence.
Yeah, I know. Well,
different
being on the fence is... I know, you got screwed over. It's not a bad...
I'm sure they were using reels.
Oh, yeah, they were. It's not a bad thing if you get it wrong. I think it's a good thing for the industry, right? That's a positive thing if we can make it work.